All right.
Oh,
there you
the
go.
wrong button.
There you go.
Oh, she got it.
Now I can mute Discord.
Can you hear me?
Yes, twice.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys. How is everybody here today?
I'm doing marvelous.
We've been having some fun chatting here. What's that?
I've been doing marvelous. Had a great launch of the Crew Dragon operational mission.
Yeah, you worked hard on that one, as I recall.
I did. Put in extra overtime.
You know, Steve puts so many launch things in my calendar that I just get kind of numb to, okay, now they're going to take some trash can and hop 6 feet with it or something, that I didn't realize how big today's launch was. Why don't you tell people what it was, Steve?
It was the first operational flight of the Crew Dragon capsule. And this time you saw a test flight with Bob and Doug maybe a few months ago. And this was the first operational flight. So this is one that's actually not for test purposes, but for doing, the heavy lifting, getting astronauts, 4 of them for the first time in a capsule. Now, the shuttle carried more, but this is the first time a capsule has carried 4 people simultaneously up to the ISS or anywhere. So this is a big deal. Wow. They got operational flight certification a couple weeks ago. They stuck the stage 1 landing. They got the orbital insertion fine. They're just, I think it's 27 hours, though, to rendezvous with ISS because they had to cancel yesterday. So
why are you tapping your desk while you're talking?
Because I'm excited.
That's good. That's good.
All right.
All right. Well, good work. It's time for roll call. We've got Dopey One, which is Ryan and Jill and Lindsay the daughter, John and Mike and Rick and Sandy and Steve. And let's check out the sidebar. Who we got coming in over here? Mr. Ed Tobias is here.
Ed.
And there's John again and Mike again and Rick. And I don't see any Frank. So who's in charge of telling me to save today?
Rick is in charge.
Rick's in charge?
Right. Alternate wingman.
You know what I'd like to do? I'm going to go ahead and do some intro work here and give so we see if a few more people come in. We're not going to wait for them because I don't believe in doing that. But I wanted to have everybody say hi, Kevin, one after another on our next break. And we're going to have Steve take a screenshot. And maybe Steve and I could be waving as he takes a screenshot. And we'll get it and send that out to him. I think he'd appreciate that. He's... Kevin is still in the hospital, and he's really tired of being in the hospital, so I think it might cheer him up if we all waved hello.
I think it would.
All right. So I think I am going to arm this track, and I'm going to mute my husband. Whoops. I muted my husband, but I messed this up. I tapped this when I got in. Let's go. There we go. Oh, and all that time I kept saying my voice was too low over the audio. Over the music? Yeah, my voice was too low over the music. So I think this input volume is getting slid down, and I don't know why. So let me see how that looks. Let me do a little test recording here. Hi, this is Allison Sher. Oh, that is way too hot. Too hot. Let's try it there. Try it back to the beginning again. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan. No, that still sounds hot, doesn't it? No, it doesn't look hot. Maybe it's just my ears. Try it one more time. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Okay, let's hear if that sounds better. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan. I'm going to still bring that down a little bit. I like that better. Okay. Very hot. Okay, did that sound okay? I'm bring it down a little bit more, a little bit. All right, we'll try there. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 15th, 2020, and this is show number 810. Well, it wouldn't be an Apple announcement week without Lori Gill joining us on Chit Chat Across the Pond. She is the managing editor of iMore, and we have such a blast together. It's been so fun that we've had this many separate announcements going on because it was an excuse to just talk to Lori every month. Anyway, Lori and I start the conversation by talking about what all of the new M1 Macs have in common, which is much more than we're used to seeing between models. Then we talk about what System on a Chip, or SoC, actually means and why it is so important to us. There's a very subtle but possibly important difference between the 256 gigabyte and 512 gigabyte storage models of the MacBook Air, which makes it even more interesting to help us decide between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pros that were just announced. We explore why Apple never said the word gigahertz and how that makes the nerds crazy because we can't compare the models to the previous Intel-based Macs. We explore the future just a bit and then start dreaming of the next models Apple will release. You can find this episode in your podcatcher of choice if you subscribe to Chit Chat Across the Pond Lite, or of course, you can listen over at podfeet.com. Well, this week I also had the great pleasure of being a guest on Ken Ray's In a Few Minutes podcast to talk about the One More Thing event. As he described it, topics include a lack of terminology, whether now is the term to buy, and drinking. Mostly it's technology talk. Anyway, we had a lot of fun, so go subscribe in your podcatcher of choice to In a Few Minutes and give that a listen. And in the category of One More Thing, if you want to find out what studio quality microphones in the 16-inch MacBook Pro sound like, listen closely to me on Ken's show. I had the wrong input to Skype, and it was using my internal 16-inch MacBook Pro's microphones, and he did not even notice. It's not my big girl mic, but you know what? It's not awful either. All right, I got to put in 2 chapters there.
So Frank made it.
Oh, good. People were getting worried.
Yeah. Glad to have you here, Frank. Missed you.
This community cares, you know?
Yeah.
I know there's other communities, but our community sure rocks. We're a family.
As
Pushing
Kevin
forward.
says, our digital family.
Yeah.
It's a bit more than that.
Keep on
but
rolling, Frank.
It's one way to describe it. Keep on rolling. Hey, when are you
What?
going to do your thing?
Should we do it now?
I think now's a good time. You might want to re-describe
Okay.
it since not everyone was here, maybe.
Yeah. So, Frank, no, not Frank. Frank is here. Kevin's stuck in the hospital, and I think he's getting kind of discouraged. So, what I was thinking would be fun is if we... John's audio quit working. Somebody tell him in text we're about to do it. What I would like to do is have everybody say, "Hi, Kevin," one after another. Go ahead and start now.
Or-
Just write, "Hi, Kevin."
Or
What?
a short message to him. Doesn't it? Whatever you want to
yeah.
say.
Yeah, send a message to Kevin. Let's get them all in a row so that without some other chatter in between. And then, Steve, when you get enough on screen to take a screenshot, then we could wave maybe during that.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Well, that took up...
Mostly they spoke of drinking. Frank just wrecked it.
hold on.
Frank,
No,
okay.
no images, please.
start over. No interruptions. Right. Do it again, guys. Keep going.
No, I can just delete that. Just no images because it takes up too much of the chat. Just a message.
Oh, okay.
Text only. So
All right.
redo yours, Frank.
All right. Well, no, he was making a joke about what I said about Ken Ray. Aw, there we go. That's looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Do you have enough, Steve, to fill it?
I think so.
All right, let's do a wave when you do the screenshot.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Ryan, that was interesting about the audio. Is when I heard it, I was like, oh, man, I was really mad. And then I realized, it didn't sound that bad, really. I mean, considering. I was quite surprised. And I've just gotten to use Mike's keystroke twice. And loving it.
Oh, I didn't even blow it up. Shoot. I'd like to capture that when you do it. Too late.
Oh,
We'll
too
catch
late.
it-
I
we'll
just
catch
did-
it next
I did
time.
it 3 times just now.
Was there a reminder there from Rick?
I did remember.
Okay.
There we go. Preview.
It was way up there. Okay, Rick's covered.
Oh, sure. Okay, Sandy covered for him anyway. All right. Kevin, it's me again. Frank. Oh, you're such a dork. but you're our dork. All right, muting Steve. Here we go. You know how... Get my voice cracked. I'm not a teenage boy. Here we go. You know how sometimes you buy something and deep down you realize that maybe it really wasn't as great as you thought it was, but you justify your purchase anyway because otherwise you'd realize that you did something really dumb? Well, I read about this very thing in the book Mistakes Were Made, But Not By Me by Carol Tavris and Elliot Aronson. Because of this, I often wonder whether something is as good as I'm pretending it to be. Take, for example, the Apple Pencil. It's $129, and it seems like a product most people could easily live without. People are crazy about the new Magic Keyboard for iPad because, we really don't want to write by hand. We want to type because it's more efficient, and there aren't that many ways you can communicate in handwritten script anyway. But let's say you think you might want to write with a stylus, but $129 seems an excessive price for what's probably going to be only an occasional use item. I wrote an article in 2019 entitled "One Crayon is Better Than Two Pencils," in which I explained all of the virtues of the Logitech Crayon at $70. I still think the Crayon is a great device and a great price, but I can now say without hesitation that the Apple Pencil is way better, at least for me. The reason I know this to be true is because I lost my Apple Pencil, and I was shocked by how much it annoyed me not to have it. I don't lose things very often because I put things in their place when I'm done with them, unlike some people I know who shall remain unnamed at this point. I'm so good at keeping track of my things that I remember the very last thing I was doing with my pencil before it disappeared. I was sitting on the couch in our family room, and I was starting to take notes for an article about how the new Scribble feature in iPad OS 14 isn't really very good. I never got to finish the article because the next time I went to work on it, my Apple Pencil was gone. Now, the cool part of the Apple Pencil 2 is that it sticks via a magnet to the top edge of the iPad. It works well, but it does get knocked off inadvertently when I throw the iPad in my backpack. But you know what? I hadn't gone anywhere. I didn't take my iPad in my backpack anywhere after that article and before I lost it. I've become quite adept at crawling under the recliner portion of our couch without hurting myself. It's dangerous because there's these spiky things hanging down. And I use my iPhone as a flashlight because while I don't lose things often, things are always falling between the couch cushions. Usually it's my crochet hook, but on occasion it's been a phone, and it happens a lot. So I crawled under there and under Steve's recliner and even under the other two recliners. It's a really cool couch, but no success. I searched all around my bed because I do play with my iPad while sipping my first cup of coffee in the morning, but it wasn't there either. Steve checked under the refrigerator thinking one of our rotten cats might have stolen it and knocked it under there. He even looked under the seats in both cars, even though we hadn't been anywhere since I'd lost it. I paid a few dollars for an app called Bluetooth Finder, which is supposed to help you find missing Bluetooth devices. I think the app works because it found lots of Bluetooth devices in my house. In fact, it said I had a tile in my house, and I didn't believe that, but I used its little meter to find out where it thought it was, and sure enough, there was one in my purse. I forgot all about them giving me one at CES. I lived without my Apple Pencil for 2 weeks, trying to use the Logitech Crayon instead, and I actually hated the experience. I can finally articulate why the Apple Pencil is way better. It's because it's stuck to the iPad. Seriously, if I have a need to do something, it's just there. I remember I wanted to show Steve something that required the pencil, and I realized my purse was on another level in the house. I had to go get it, and by that time, I had lost his attention. The other thing is, because it's right there, it's also always fully charged. The battery on the Crayon is pretty good, but when it runs out, I have to find a lightning cable, and if it's USB-A, I have to find a dongle so I can plug it into my iPad or my Mac. That happened a couple of times, and it was super annoying. It surprised me how much I really use the pencil, too. I've told you before how I use Notability to write out my ideas when I'm programming because I can scribble in shorthand quickly before I lose a thought and change colors for different ideas and use red for dangerous things I'm doing in my writing. I'm working on a new crocheted blanket, and the pattern is giving me fits. It's not a hard pattern, but it has very slight changes, so it's hard to keep track of which step I've done. I wanted to use Notability with pencil to hand write out the instructions in a more structured way than the real instructions, and then be able to check off each step instead of having do this 3 times and do that 4 times where I couldn't keep count. I also figured out a really good use for Apple Pencil, and that's for creating handwritten physical notes. Here's the problem to be solved. Have you tried to write a handwritten note by hand lately? If you're anything like me, your penmanship has atrophied over the years. I make so many mistakes, sending a simple thank you note looks like a 4-year-old wrote it. And I totally forget about writing in a straight line. I mean, there's no way I can do that. It just kind of slides down like some kind of psychopath. So here's the trick. Again, using my trusty Notability, I set it for white paper with nicely spaced lines on it. I choose a blue pen, which will later on look like I wrote with a real pen. I write my note using the eraser as often as I use the pen. Sometimes I have an idea I wish I'd written earlier in the note. With Notability, I can use the lasso to select some handwriting and simply move it around. When I'm done, I turn off the lines, put some pretty notepaper in my printer, and I print it out right from the iPad. Now I have a physical letter to send to someone that looks like a normal handwritten note, and yet I couldn't have made it look this good in 100 years without the iPad and Apple Pencil. My mother-in-law has been the recipient of a few of my notes, and she says she's keeping them forever because handwritten notes are a lost art. Well, for 2 weeks, I searched for my beloved pencil. I even asked Twitter and Slack where they hid it, and I got some great suggestions, like Rick Cartwright's, where he suggested maybe it got stuck magnetically to something else. I hadn't thought of that. That meant yet another crawl under my recliners, running my hands all along the steel mechanisms, feeling for my pencil, and yet I didn't find my pencil. I finally broke down and I bought a new one, but at least I was able to find one in the Apple refurb store, so that knocked $20 off the price. I got it, and I am so happy to have my pencil back. And yes, I fully expect to find my original one immediately. It's like they say that the best camera is the one you have with you. I think the best stylus is the one that's stuck to your iPad. Done. My handwriting looks like inept forgery. Frank. Oh, it wasn't you, Rick? Oh, no. Oh, somebody's going to be really mad that it was them. Oh, nuts. Are you talking, Steve?
Sorry, I was muted. How about now?
There you go.
Look at Telegram, or scroll up in the chat.
To what? Is there a picture?
Yeah, I just sent you a picture in Telegram.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh, Sienna May! Oh, Lindsay, I need to post that somewhere. That's interesting how it looks like a double image on the text.
Yeah, it got movement, or I'm not quite sure. That's kind of like an interlaced.
A 3D?
It looks like interlaced TV, but it's not, because Macs don't do that. I don't believe. Oh, wait a minute. This is a YouTube video. Maybe YouTube is transmitting I and not
Save
P.
Bookmark now. Oh, maybe. Wow.
Yeah.
That made my day, Lindsay. My youngest fan, huh? Very happy grandmother. Yeah, I'm not proud at all. Just made it. Don't let me forget to push up to the blog the next one. Okay. It is time to watch. Wait, I can do it. There.
Good job.
All right, we're going to do a chapter mark. Look at me go, girl, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Shift, Control, Option, Command, H. I didn't do anything. Oh, because I didn't have him.
I don't see a field.
Shift.
Don't you have to open a
You're
field?
not going to see it. No, I don't even have to do that. Shift, Control, Option, Command, H. That's all I have to remember. Mash down all of the keys on the left-hand side, and I'm going to hit H, and now it just went beep, and I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to do a right-click, copy link. It's going to beep at me again. I'm going to hit copy again, and now watch. Boom, 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 boom.
There it
Done.
is.
Just pound on the keyboard. No, I don't want it easier. I think it's perfect. I hit all of those keys. All right, we are going to start. This is the first time this has ever happened. Actually, I'm going to put a little quick disclaimer in here. I'm going to actually slide that out a little bit. I'm going to put a disclaimer going, okay, hang on. Okay, I'm going to make a really quick real-time amendment. Rick Cartwright is in the chat room and in the live show, and he says it was not his idea to check for the pencil connected to something magnetically. So someone else wonderful made that suggestion, and I inadvertently gave him credit. And I give credit to Rick for admitting that it wasn't him. So my apologies to whoever did tell it to me, but I thank you for your idea. All right. So
Good correction.
Pixel snap. Yeah.
Keeping them
somebody's
honest.
like, that was me. I didn't get credit. All right. I get my name in lights twice.
Twice.
There you go. Lindsay, you have to send me that photo. That's just great. Okay. So this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be Terry Austin doing a review, but then I'm going to come in and I'm going to finish the review. So it's 3 minutes long. I don't know if I have time for that. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Whoever did tell it to me, but I thank you for your idea.
Hi there, Castaways. Terry Austin here, online professor since 2012, way before the pandemic. Let's talk about a problem to be solved that I deal with pretty much every day, making videos for my online classes. Many of these videos involve me taking my students or other faculty that I consult with on video-based tours of websites. My daily workhorse monitor is an HP Envy ultra-wide curved display, which usually sets to the right of my 2020 16-inch MacBook Pro. This beast of a monitor has a 21:9 ratio with a resolution of 3440 by 1440. Setting in front of this screen is frankly amazing, but to try and watch a video in that format at full resolution would be painful. The monitor's really wide and short, and all the fonts are tiny in a video shot at native format. So, in comes Pixel Snap. For all you setup users, Pixel Snap is part of the gang. Load it up and give it a spin. If you're not a setup user, you can still get Pixel Snap. Easy to remember, just go to getpixelsnap.com. For a single Mac, the cost is $39, which makes me appreciate setup that much more. Let's get to business though and walk through how this works. As I prepare to shoot a video, I open a web page or app in a window that I want to shoot anywhere on my screen. Then I open Pixel Snap and issue the Find Dimensions command, which gives me a crosshair cursor. I move that cursor to the top left of my browser or app window. Personally, I don't want the navigation bar from the browser in the windows, so I go just below that to the main part of the web page. From there, I click and hold the mouse and start dragging. A pale red rectangle appears, and in the center, I see an ever-changing resolution indicator that changes as I continue to drag. Once I have the rectangle at precisely the resolution I want for my final video, and for me that's usually 1920 by 1080, but it could be anything you want, I stop. Now the magic begins. With the keystroke Command-Shift-F, the translucent red rectangle freezes in place. I then grab the corner of my web page and drag it to match that rectangle precisely. Then I go back to the menu bar and tell Pixel Snap to clear all, and the red rectangle goes away, leaving me with a perfectly sized web page ready for recording at exactly the resolution I want for my final video. From there, I'm ready to fire up my favorite video recording app, which for me is ScreenFlow, in the reassurance that the area I'm interested in is precisely the right resolution for my final video. And there you have it, problem solved. It makes no difference what monitor I'm working on, how unwieldy it might be for the final viewer. I know their video that they're going to watch from me is going to be scaled exactly right for them.
Yeah, you're not too late. I think I still have a the 6K Apple monitor on my Christmas list, so you're good.
Oh boy.
Steve, why are you just sitting there blank staring?
You know, I didn't see that conveniently. I may choose not to see it. So Frank O is back. I think he joined us for the first time last week, possibly.
No, he's been around for a long time.
Really? Frank, have you been here before?
Yeah.
Well, you've been here before, but
Yeah.
a lot? Frank O.
Rick Abrams? Oh, it was Rick Abrams. Oh, man.
You've been here once before or many times before?
He's been here.
So maybe I
Little
just
more
don't
than
recognize your avatar.
half a dozen times.
Did you get a
maybe?
new avatar?
You know, everything is new to Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
Many
mute you and
times.
keep going.
Half a dozen. Okay.
All right. No chapter mark, but I have saved.
Going to be scaled exactly right for them.
Well, you know, guys, I was so intrigued by Terry's description of Pixel Snap that I downloaded it from SetApp to see for myself. I wanted to add a caveat to his review and add a little bit more about the app, as I discovered over time that it can do a bunch of other stuff. Terry's monitor, as he said, is 3440 by 1440, which is not a 4K display, nor is it what Apple calls a Retina display. It's huge and it's perfect for him. But if you try to use Pixel Snap to do what Terry did using the internal display on a MacBook or using a 4K or a 5K display, you will not get the same results. Back in OS X 10.9, Apple started using a technology called pixel doubling on the higher resolution monitors. Enabling pixel doubling simply draws every pixel in the desktop as a 2x2 block of pixels on the screen. This makes everything exactly twice the size. The problem is, without pixel doubling, everything on a 4K or a Retina screen would be wee tiny, especially the menu bar text. The reason I bring up pixel doubling is that if you follow Terry's instructions and you're using a Retina or a 4 or 5K display, you get a video twice the size of what Pixel Snap said you were capturing. I tested Pixel Snap by creating a pink box. He calls it a light red box, but it's pink. Anyway, I tested it by creating this pink box on that was 640 by 480 on my 16-inch MacBook Pro's display. I then dragged my window over the box and recorded just that window. The resulting video was 1280 by 960 instead of 640 by 480. Oddly, QuickTime says it was actually 1280 by 958, so I don't know, a pixel got dropped along the way, and that got doubled. Anyway, at first I was dismayed, thinking Pixel Snap wouldn't be as useful to do what he was talking about as I'd hoped, but I gave a poke at the preferences and found a setting labeled Retina, and the drop-down next to it is defaulted to points, parentheses, rounded. Not sure what rounded means. Maybe that's the rounding and that's how we lost a digit. I don't know. But anyway, it's set to points. And there's a non-rounded option of points as well, but then there's also an option for screen pixels. If you're using a Retina or 4 or 5K display, simply change the recording to use screen pixels, and you'll be able to correctly match your recording area to match your desired output recording dimensions. Now, Terry's problem to be solved is quite clever, but I think Pixel Snap's main purpose is to allow you to measure things on screen. For example, as a web developer, you might find times where things aren't lining up quite right. You'd like to know the actual measurement between elements. Pixel Snap is designed exactly for this task. With Pixel Snap. For example, as a I'm going to catch that and try that again. Allow you to measure things on screen. Okay. Me up. Yeah, let's go over there. There we go. Are you saying my Tanqueray and tonic is kicking in?
No.
All right. No, nobody would say that. Okay. Let me have another drink.
Now it's kicking in.
For example, as a web developer, you may find times where things aren't lining up quite right, and you'd like to know the actual measurement between elements. Pixel Snap is designed for this task. With Pixel Snap enabled by the keystroke Command-Shift-F, as Terry described, you get red crosshairs on screen. You will also see two numbers, which are the horizontal and vertical dimensions it's detecting. This can be the distance between two images, or between some text and an image, or if you hover over a graphical element, it will show you the size of that element. For example, if you hover over a folder in macOS, say on the desktop, you'll see that the icon is 59 pixels wide by 36 pixels tall. It's very clumsy to explain how this works, but it's completely intuitive when you're using it. You have a couple of options when showing these dimensions. If you hit the Enter key, the dimensions are copied to your clipboard. There's a couple of things I haven't figured out yet. When testing Pixel Snap for this addendum to Terry's review, I noticed that the touch bar Actually, that's not true. I did figure that out. You have a couple of options when showing these dimensions. There's a couple of things I have. There are a couple of things that it took me a while to figure out. When testing Pixel Snap for this addendum to Terry's review, I noticed that the touch bar on my MacBook Pro had been activated with a couple of buttons. As I described before, moving the cursor around, you have an actively changing set of dimensions showing. But the touch bar gives me 2 dimensions, which allow me, not 2 dimensions, 2 buttons. But the touch bar, there we go. But the touch bar gives me 2 buttons which allow me to freeze either the horizontal or vertical dimension on screen. In fact, I can keep tapping it to get as many vertical dimensions. Gosh darn it. Try again. But touch bar gives me 2 buttons which allow me to freeze either the horizontal or vertical dimension on screen. In fact, I can keep tapping it to get many different dimensions recorded. There's also a horizontal and vertical button on the touch bar that gives me a line that goes all the way across my screen, horizontally or vertically, depending on which one I click, and it shows its absolute distance from the edge. If I click on screen, it sticks there. It freezes right there on screen, so I can have a vertical alignment bar. Both of these sets of options seemed useful, but I couldn't find any instructions on how to leave the dimensions on screen without the touch bar. I looked at all the options and preferences, and while I did find some keystrokes under shortcuts, I didn't find any clues on how to execute the options enabled in the touch bar. I did discover that if you drag across an area, creating that pink box Terry talked about up front, you can use the C key to copy a screenshot to the clipboard, or the S key to save a screenshot to your desktop. But I still didn't know how to activate the options from the touch bar. I don't like that wording on that. But I still didn't know how to activate those options that I had over on touch bar. I finally resorted to holding down all kinds of keys. I held down Option, Control, Command while clicking, none of which did a darn thing. And finally, I just started poking every key on my keyboard like I was a 2-year-old. I discovered that the V key freezes the vertical dimension and the H key freezes the Did anybody proofread this, for crying out loud? No, I'm sorry, Sandy, that was mean. I just said, oh no, I did fix this. No, it can't be. I've refreshed. V key freezes the vertical dimension, the H key freezes the H key freezes. It says H key freezes the vertical one. Oh, come on. Horizontal. There we go. I should not be mean. Uh-oh. There's a movie. Somebody fell asleep mid-show. Well, is it getting boring? I discovered that. Okay, start with I discovered. Okay, Steve isn't even here. Sienna's asleep. Steve's not here listening. It's okay.
Oh, sorry about that. I was lighting the barbecue.
Okay. We having chicken?
You bet.
All right, good. It wouldn't be Sunday without chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken.
Where'd it go? I did discover that the V key freezes the vertical dimension and the H key freezes the horizontal dimension. I'll leave it up to someone more clever than me to figure out how to get that. Nope. It's like I didn't even finish writing this because I figured that out. I'll leave it because in the next paragraph, I explain how I did figure it out. Okay. This can be like 86 little to make this thing work. Now that, like a young child, I had smashed all of the keys I could think of, I resorted to watching their introductory video. they showed a contextual menu pop-up, which made me realize that a command or right-click displays a menu for adding the horizontal or vertical guide. That's the one that goes full length or full width that I've been looking for, and for freezing horizontal or vertical distances on screen. Not only that, it showed that Shift-H and Shift-V are how you freeze the guides on screen if you don't have a touch bar. Maybe I should have watched the video up front when they offered it on the opening screen. But even after watching the video, it still took me a bit to figure out how to get the guides to stick on screen. You hit the keystrokes, such as Shift-V for the vertical guide, and you'll see the guide, but to get it to stick, you have to click on screen. It will immediately revert back to measuring, so you have to do a second Shift-V if you want a second guide to stick on screen. Another thing I realized watching the video is that Pixel Snap has object detection given the right kind of background. This means you can simply drag across an icon on a white background and the dimensions will snap right to the edges and leave the dimensions right on screen. I tested this on the Programming by Stealth logo, which has the squirrely brackets, and the little dimension indicator slid right along them, going in and out of the squirrely brackets as I went up and down the bracket. That was pretty amazing. Now, I said it has to be a light background, or I think it has to be a contrasting background. I tried it with the buttons that I have that are on the gray picture of a MacBook cover and the lid of a MacBook, and it couldn't really find the edges of those buttons. So that's why I think you have to be on maybe a higher contrast than that. Sometimes when you're working with Pixel Snap, it might grab the wrong content, especially if you're measuring between lines of text. Pixel Snap allows you to adjust the tolerance, either in the preferences or by simply using the T key to flip between the high, medium, low, and 0 tolerance levels. I found the T key to be invaluable to adjust quickly to just the kind of dimension I was trying to capture. Now, I want to re-mention one thing Terry said way back before I butted in on his review. After you've plopped dimensions and guides all over your screen, hitting Command-Shift-F again gets you out of Pixel Snap, but the dimensions and the guides stick all over your screen. You have to go back up to the menu bar app and select Clear All, just like Terry said. If you find it tedious to go all the way up to the menu bar like I do, you can add a keystroke to Clear All in the preferences of Pixel Snap. Pixel Snap also integrates with 4 applications: Sketch from Google, Adobe XD, Figma, and the Affinity Suite. If you enable any of these integrations, Pixel Snap says it will get the correct dimensions based on the in-app zoom level. I turned it on for the Affinity Suite and was instructed that Pixel Snap would have to be set to points rather than screen pixels. I didn't test it, but I'd be curious here to see if it would truly get the correct dimensions on a Retina or 4K or 5K display. The bottom line is that I haven't ever seen an app do what Pixel Snap can do. It does it elegantly, and it's so unusual, I'm surprised it's even allowed to do what it does. If you don't have a setup subscription, you can buy Pixel Snap for $39 for one Mac, and they have prices for more Macs, and it's available from getpixelsnap.com. Okay, not cautious, but curious. Cautious, curious. Man, I make a lot of mistakes when I write. I blame... let's see, it stayed published. Good. Save and add a chapter mark. You think I should?
I think Rick's on it.
I don't know.
Job, Rick.
Halibut.
They were asking how I do the barbecue, and it's not
chicken.
normal. It's not a classic barbecue. Certainly not in the South. This is not how you describe barbecue, or in Texas, or anything like that.
A barbecue is involved.
A barbecue is involved with the heating, but it's not classic barbecue.
It is chicken.
My default
on the barbecue.
My default cooking method is the barbecue. If I can do it on the barbecue, I do that first, including our turkey. Although this year, we may try something different.
Since we're not having a big family gathering, it's going to be
little tiny Cornish game hen.
Little tiny turkey.
I'm thinking Christmas
Grill it
vacation.
on the barbecue, yeah. Yeah, Mike. Oh, definitely. Our oven is used to heat plates. Actually, you make the salmon in the oven.
Yes.
That's it.
This salmon kind of falls apart on the grill.
Yeah, it's a little problematic. Deep fried turkey. Nah.
Well,
all right, I'm gonna do. a quick pledge break. You can type whatever you're going to say goodbye.
Let me toggle your audio here. So, no, still not hearing. Let's see. Audio device. We'll toggle that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Did
so
you hear that? Okay,
I
let me change it
toggled the
back.
audio device. Can you hear me? No, I lost you. Whatever you just did, I lost you again. I had you, but I lost you.
Okay, so
There.
what I'm changing it is the audio device from Universal Audio Thunderbolt. Sorry, it was on YouTube Live and Input. So let me see if something happened to Audio Hijack. Stop trying to update yourself, for crying out loud. Jeez.
Yeah, I got that too.
Okay, hang on. Live show. All right, I'm going to try killing. Let me stop Audio Hijack. And I'm going to start it up again. So now I'm going to flip it back to... You aren't going to have anything else.
Lost you. Nope.
Okay, so you can hear me now.
Yep.
Okay, let me try one more thing.
Nope.
Yeah, so this is something going wrong in Mimo Live. Because
Really?
I can tell that my audio is not coming through, but I am still fully broadcasting just fine. Unless something happened in SoundSource, or in Loopback. It probably got an update too. Crying out loud. Okay, so Alice Mike, YouTube Live Input. Oh, look. It wants an update. Now, I wonder if it's it trying to update. Let me try one more time. I'm going to flip it back to YouTube Live Input.
Nope.
I don't think it's anything from Rogue Amoeba. It smells like Mimo Live to me. Is this the same computer?
This is
when
not
all
a beta
fiddly with
either.
Lori? Actually, Mike, let's see, who just asked that? Mike, it was her computer that went all fiddly. Her video camera simply wouldn't connect, her USB camera. She finally ended up going to using her internal webcam. Yep. And I told her, I said, everything's fiddly. And in fact, I told her that Lindsay is the one who always throws that back in my face. So, you can hear me now, right?
Yes. Loud and clear.
Okay.
Chat room,
All right.
you can hear
So
it, right?
that's fine. So,
No,
we have 15 minutes.
They can't. No, hold on. They can't hear you in the chat room.
Oh, you know why? Because the chat room is set to... Okay, hang on.
Sorry,
I
chat
can
room.
fix that.
We'll try to work on that.
Okay, they can hear me now, I'm betting.
How about now?
Actually, that's interesting. That is... Can you hear me now?
Choppy.
In and out,
So
choppy.
you might want to
Ugh.
restart Discord. That's what I do
Discord.
when I get that.
Yeah. So I'll just talk to Steve about this. So that tells me that it's not Mimo Live.
Maybe it was Discord. No, because I was listening to you on Mimo.
No. But it was happening in both.
Okay.
It is definitely affecting Mimo Live, so I don't think it's Mimo Live.
Did you restart Discord?
I just did. I'm getting it. Give me a second. Okay.
Mimo
I
dead.
am back in live show listen.
How about now, guys?
I
Do you
lost
hear
the
Allison?
chat. I lost the chat. I have icons of everybody. How do I get back to the chat?
Still choppy. Interesting. That's just Allison, and I'm not choppy. Is that right?
Steve, how do I get to the chat? I've got icons of everybody now.
Live show
What the heck?
listen?
I'm in live show listen, and I see icons. Show non-video participants. I've got this. Wait, you can't touch that. That's not a touchscreen.
Oh, what is this?
That's he's sitting here poking my USB-C display. Pretend this is a Mac. It's not an iPad.
Okay, so where is the control for this? Oh,
It's right here.
okay.
You go into general discussion. So I can see general discussion. Press in this
No,
button
this
in the... Oh, no.
Try again.
No, I can only see... I'm going to go back in general discussion in case somebody's answering. Do you guys know how to get out of the view? Well, I mean, I guess that'll work.
Yeah, you just...
That'll work. I don't know what's going on. So, Mimo Live, unjustly accused. So, if... Oh, wait. What are we... Oh, maybe that didn't work. Ah, no, I'm in the wrong one. Invite... I really don't know how to get out of this. Oh, that's full screen? No, I don't want full screen. This is useless. Are they offering anything? Popped out the screen. I don't want this. I can't get back to the picture. Clone channel.
I thought you were going to be... just
leave.
leave the chat as is, Al.
Yeah, but that chat is the chat. Everybody's saying, no, you're in the wrong chat. You need to be in live show
Oh,
listen.
you're not in
for anything
live show
anybody's
listen.
saying.
I see.
I'm in, well, now I'm back in live show listen, but I can't. Is anybody telling me how to get out of this view?
No. No, I thought you're in live show listen. You're not seeing what they're saying?
Okay, in live show listen, here, I'm going to send, here, you send this to them because I can't, Steve. I'm going to send this back to you. And you send that to them and you ask them how to get out because if they answer, I won't be able to read it because I can't see you guys.
Okay,
All
so
right.
what she is seeing is where to go.
Okay, I'm going to do a chapter mark while we're at it.
She's seeing this. So
You know.
what mode? So this is on
What am
the
I
Mac,
in?
not iOS. This is on Mac OS, right?
Right.
So, how did you get into that view?
I left and I came back. And when I came back, it was in there.
I've seen
I
that
don't
view
know how to
before, but
fix
I
it.
can't remember how I got there or got
Yeah,
back.
you're going to have
Sandy,
to be my universal translator. Does Sandy
You
have
might-
an idea?
Sandy, no.
I'm going to quit Discord again and come back.
All right.
Just maybe it'll fix it.
Wait, hold on.
All right.
Click back on top live show. On top live show? Above live show? What's on top live show mean? On the top live show?
Okay. All right. That didn't fix it. Hide names. Nope.
So there you click on the lower line view. Go
What?
to get audio and upper live view. So she said, you click back on the top live show. Live show? You mean live show listen?
I'm clicking on live show listen. And
Okay,
that's all I see.
then the next step is, so there you click on lower live view.
Where?
I don't know. That's where I lost it. To get to audio and upper live view.
Screen. Share your screen. I can turn on my camera. I can hang up. I can mute myself. I can deafen
You're talking
myself.
about
but
upper
I
and
cannot
lower.
see. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. If you hover in the upper left, it says listen. Bottom left, I can invite somebody. I can turn on my camera, share my screen, mute. I can disconnect. I can pop out, and I can make it full screen in the upper right. I can do more.
So she's saying there's a text channel
non-video-
versus voice channel. Click back to the text channel up above.
General Oh.
So there's text channels in the left
Oh.
sidebar, text channels and voice channels. So click back to the text channel on the top.
Okay, I think I found it. That's weird. I've never done that. It must have defaulted it. I found it.
Yeah.
Or not, I didn't find it. Sandy found it. Okay.
No, Jill.
That
Jill's
is
been
so bizarre.
Jill's been giving us these.
Oh, Jill's been doing it. Sorry,
Yeah.
you said she and I thought you said Sandy. Okay, thanks, Jill.
Good job, Jill.
All right. I got a long review to do. We got to get to work.
Oh, boy.
This is an exciting review. All right, and Jill helped me with it, actually. Oh, shoot. Rick, really close, quick. Who was it that said to check the magnetic stuff for the pencil? Is Rick still there?
Did
'Cause
Rick
I'm gonna
ever
sneak
know?
it in.
He said he wasn't the one. Did he know who it was?
Yeah, Rick wrote who it was.
Okay. Who was that,
Rick
Rick?
is about to tell us here. Yeah, he did, and it scrolled past, so I didn't get to see it. He's typing. Type faster. We're all waiting. It's very exciting, Rick. Hurry. Oh, is he just teasing us?
He just left his cursor there. Rick
Abraham.
Abraham. Ah,
There
so
it
you were
is.
right.
Thank
It was
you very
Rick.
much. Yeah, I was right. It was Rick. Okay, I'm going to do real-time follow-up. Okay, we have some late-breaking news from the chat room. Rick Cartwright says it was Rick Abraham who said that I should check for something my magnetic pencil would have stuck to. So I was right, it was Rick. I just got the wrong Rick. And so thank you, Rick Abraham. Okay, now I got to move that chapter mark. This is so stupid. I'm doing this like 8 times. Hopefully, this will be the last time. Okay, here. All right. Escape. Save. Here we go. All right. For many NosillaCastaways, a dark day in our tech lives was when our beloved app Clarify was end-of-lifed by its developers. I was personally heartbroken because I'd not only advertised for the product on the show, I was a devout user of Clarify for all of the tutorials I've made for podfeet.com and for my friends and my family. One part of the beauty of Clarify was that it let you rapidly take a series of screenshots as you walk through a tool or a website, annotate the screenshots with arrows and lines and even sequence numbers, and then add text to each step, including HTML links and code blocks. But the biggest advantage over using Clarify versus just taking normal screenshots and annotating them in something like, Preview, was that it would export your step-by-step instructions into beautifully formatted PDFs, HTML pages, or even Word or PowerPoint. You never had to go through the absolute tedium of trying to move images around in a text editor and getting the pages to flow properly. Clarify did all of this for you. After Clarify hit end of life, the developers did one last update to make it 64-bit, so at least those of us who already own Clarify could keep using it with macOS Catalina and beyond, but you couldn't buy Clarify any longer. I noticed that the demise of Clarify, even though my copy is still working, caused me to simply stop making tutorials. I just don't do it anymore. I really do think it broke my heart that Clarify was abandoned. In April of 2018, I wrote an article entitled, "Can Stepshot Guides Replace Clarify?" I tried to write it as optimistically as I could, but Stepshot Guides was very expensive at $120 per year, and it was very clumsy, and I really didn't like it. And Stepshot Guides was eventually abandoned by the developers. Now, why am I opening these old wounds? This week, I was contacted by Oleksiy Srebiny, I'm going to try to say that, Srebiny, about his app called Folge, that's Folge, at folge.me. He's marketing this as a replacement for Clarify and Stepshot Guides. Over the years, I'm often asked if I found a replacement for Clarify, and I surely miss it myself, so I was excited to give Folge a try. I want to say up front that Oleksiy is possibly the most responsive and excited about his product developer that I have ever encountered. He loves feedback, and the more detailed, the better. He said he's always disappointed when users write something simple like, "I like your tool," or something equally vague. He has met his match with me. I've been sending in questions and screenshots and even a little video recording to show him what I'm finding, and I've only been using it for a day. Let's talk first about the Folge interface. The app is written in Electron, which means it's basically a Chrome web app. The advantage of Electron is that it allows him very rapid development, and it allows Alexi to have his app work on both Windows and Mac without having to develop separate apps. I recognized right away that he uses Bootstrap to do the design, which is a tool Bart taught us in Programming by Stealth. The result is a very fluid, beautiful, and quick app. Now, Electron apps are generally seen as heavier than native apps, but I'm not noticing this being slow at all. What I do notice is that the normal Mac menu bar options basically don't do anything at all. For example, there isn't a preferences menu in the menu bar. Instead, you go to settings using a hamburger menu like you would on a web app. It's also odd that there are undo and redo menus in the menu bar, and yet those functions don't work inside Folge. Once I understood this, though, I didn't find it as annoying as you would think because I'm so used to working in the web. But I did want to make sure you understood upfront how Folge might look different than normal apps. Now, I usually like to wait till the end to tell you the price of a tool, so if I really like it, I can sell you on it first. But since I mentioned the high price of Stepshot guides, and we know that the $39 price tag of Clarify wasn't enough to make a sustainable business model, I figured I should let you know the pricing for Folge. Folge is available for download at folge.me, as I said, and they have both a free and a paid model. With the free version, you're limited to simply PDF export, and your screenshots will have a small typewritten watermark in the bottom right corner saying they were taken by Folge. If you're prepared to buy it, the normal price for a personal license is €80 or... Hang on. I've definitely got to refresh this because I changed this part a bunch when Sandy found a typo. So if I don't fix this right now, I'm going to say the wrong price. Okay. Okay, where did I stop? If you're willing to pay for it, I don't want to say that. Never mind. The normal price for a personal license for Folge is €80, but he's got it on sale right now for 25% off, so it's only €59. For the US folks, the regular price will be $93, which still, I think that's a fair price, but it's on sale right now for $69, and that sale is till the end of November. Now that you know the price, let's talk about the tool. Folge has a unique method for taking screenshots. It is definitely a much different workflow than using Clarify, but hopefully it will be just a case of needing to retrain my muscle memory to use this. When you first start using Folge, you'll be shown the settings page. This is very important to how Folge captures screenshots. Once you're in screenshot mode in Folge, by default, screenshots are initiated by a simple click of the mouse. The screenshot will then have a red shadowed rectangle on it precisely where you clicked. I think the idea is that if you're showing someone a step in a guide, you probably want to tell them where to click. So having a little red box there would be a good idea. However, I found this very hard to get used to, and I kept creating errant screenshots with these rectangles on them, and I had to do a lot of cleanup after the fact. The rectangles were never quite where I wanted them, and they weren't formatted the way I prefer, and I find it much easier to add them myself after taking the screenshots. Luckily, in the settings screen that you're shown upon launch, and which you can access at any time using the hamburger menu, you can change the mode to capture with a mouse click and a key pressed, and you can disable the show clicked area toggle that puts those red rectangles in. Maybe you would like it that way, and I'm not trying to sell you on the way I like it, but I like that you can change it to the way you prefer. Now that I have the settings the way I prefer, let's talk about the workflow with Folge. When you create a new guide, you get the option to start adding steps. A rectangular capture area will show up on screen. allowing you to move the corner handles or to click and drag for a whole new rectangular selection area. Now in Clarify, I was used to doing this click drag of an area on every screenshot, but Fold assumes that you will want to capture many screenshots of that same selected area one after another. Once you've selected the area, you get a pop-up that says Start Capturing. So you haven't actually captured a screenshot yet. You've just got the rectangular area you're going to work with. You click the Start Capturing button, and now you can actually start taking screenshots. If you set the preferences the way I like them, a shift click will capture the screen. Now you can click to go to the next screen, for example, and a shift click to take another shot of the same area. Each time you take a screenshot, the pop-up will register it and update a counter for the number of captures you've made. You also get a dandy little thumbnail of what you last captured and a magnifying glass, which when clicked embiggens the thumbnail so you can ensure you captured what you expected. If you need to capture a different part of the screen, the Start Capturing pop-up has a pause button on it, which will allow you to move the capture rectangle around and resize it, and then you can resume with the pop-up and keep going. This is the part of the workflow I'll have to get used to because I'm used to being able to do a click, drag, another click, drag, another click, drag, on and on and on as I've gotten what I've needed. In Clarify, using the R key would capture the previous area if you did need it to stay the same, but the rest of the time you would just be grabbing a new screen area. I'm not saying that Fold has a bad workflow. I'm definitely not saying that, but I just haven't yet erased my muscle memory and replaced it with the concept of pause, resize, resume. Hopefully my brain isn't too old to retrain. After you've taken a few screenshots and hit finish on the pop-up, Fold will open to the guide view, and that's where the fun really begins. Down the left side, you'll see thumbnails of each screenshot, or you can make that a list view if you'd prefer. In the middle area will be the step image, and on the right panel will be the step properties. Properties are where you're going to give the step a title and write some descriptive text. We're going to start in the middle with annotations because, let's face it, that's the most fun. Fold has the perfect array of annotations to apply and a very easy way to edit how those annotations look. You've got boxes and circles and lines and arrowed lines and text, which is, pretty much table stakes for an app like this. But you've also got step numbers, just like Clarify. If you click in several spots on the screenshot with step numbers selected, you will get sequential numbers. Unfortunately, the developer hasn't implemented one of the key tricks of Clarify on step numbers. Ideally, if you delete a step number, the remaining ones should renumber themselves. So for example, if you've got steps 1, 2, and 3, and you delete 2, what you should be left with was steps 1 and 2. But with Fold, you get 1 and 3. So now if you deleted a step number, the next steps are going to keep going. So I'm going to have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be confusing, right? It's unlikely that you want to skip a step. So to fix this, you have to delete all of your step numbers and start over to get them in order again without any missing. Now, I told you up front that the developer, Oleksiy Srebiny, is super responsive, and I am sure he'll either enhance the tool to renumber, or he'll explain precisely why it can't be done, maybe why he chose to do it that way, or give me a timeline for when he'll figure out how to make it work the way I like it. After placing any annotation on screen in Fold, you'll get a formatting pane in the Step Properties side panel to allow you to change it. You can change things like line thickness, drop shadows, text size, fill, all those, and more. I do have to say that the step numbers are a bit buggy, where increasing the font size completely messes up the alignment of the number inside the circle. But I already mentioned that to Oleksiy, and he's on it now to figure out how to fix it. I know I get a little nuts when it comes to my love for annotation tools, but the arrows in Fold are delightful. You can change the line thickness and the arrowhead size independently, which for some reason is actually a rare option. Usually as soon as you make the line thick, you get a 6 foot across arrowhead, and that's not what I wanted. In Fold, you could also make arrows expanding, which means the line thickness at the head is big, but it comes to a thin point on the other end. I know that's a small thing, but hey, it delighted me. I've never seen that feature before. I do recommend getting the settings the way you like them on the first annotation you add, because subsequent annotations will adopt that same formatting. Changing these settings appears to change the defaults for the next time you launch Fold. I think that's true. I'm not 100% sure, but in my testing, that's the way it worked. Folge also includes a blur tool, which is essential when taking screenshots to obfuscate private or sensitive information. There's a crop tool in case you want to zoom in on a captured area. When a screenshot is cropped, you get a Restore Image button above the screenshot, which will undo that crop. So it's a non-destructive, I'll get it yet. No, I won't. I'm going to re-say that. When a screenshot, things scrolled on me. When a screenshot. There it is. When a screenshot is cropped, you get a Restore Image button above the screenshot. That's good because remember I said there's no undo in Folge, but the fact that it can restore the image suggests that this is a non-destructive edit. Alexei explained to me that he wrote some code very early on, and he's going to have to spend a ton of time refactoring that in order to enable the undo function in Folge. So he's got it on his list, but it's quite a ways down the road, so don't hold your breath for an undo button. The main place I wish I had undo is in the placement of annotations. If you resize one or move it inadvertently, you can't back up a step. It's not that hard to move them around, but, it would be kind of nice. I do have to say that the handles for changing the size of annotations are very difficult to see, especially on darker backgrounds. They're a very thin light blue, and on dark mode screenshots, they practically disappear. Hey, that's another enhancement idea for Alexei. He's going to love me. In the top bar, you'll see a size indicator, and that's the zoom level of the screenshot, just for your own viewing. Folge has nice keystrokes, like you can hit Command 1 to fit it to screen, Command plus and minus to zoom in and out. In step properties, there's a couple of cool touches. You can do all the normal text editing in the description area, but you can also add links, add code snippets, and have them appropriately formatted. You can add checklists, numbered and regular bullets, and highlighted text. But you can also embed a video. Now, this utility is only useful if you have the paid-for version, because obviously a video can't live inside a PDF. This is where the HTML and rich HTML export of Folge really comes into play. If you're feeling constrained in writing your description in the tiny little box that's in the sidebar, you can pop it out into a big window where you can stretch out and get to writing. This is again the beauty of it being a web app, because it looks just like the pop-out text box in any browser, so it's familiar and it's very pretty with its bootstrap elements. Finally, you can set the status of a step from to do, in progress, or completely the wrong intonation on the wrong syllable. Not making the right point. Save. Finally, you can set the status of a step. You can change it from to do to in progress to done. This will be very helpful if you have trouble remembering to finish annotating every step before publishing. At the top of the screen, you'll notice that Alexei chose a name for your guide. Instead of something boring like Untitled 1, he uses a random name generator, so it might be called something like Aqua Mackerel. If you click on the name, you can change it to something less playful, but perhaps more meaningful to you. Next to the name is a big green export button. Your options, if you pay for Folge, are PDF, Word, PowerPoint, HTML, rich HTML, and even JSON. It says if you export as a JSON file, you can use it to transform your guide into any format or even parse it with your code. That last option is beyond my current skill set, but we've got some super nerds in the community who will probably love that. If we start with the plain PDF export, we have quite a few decisions to make. The most important one is whether to keep steps together and not split content. I say this is the most important because this is precisely what is so hard to manage when working with difficult tools like Pages or Word to lay things out. You can have a table of contents added, you can choose page orientation, and even number each step. There's a handy preview button so you can check out your choices before waiting for the PDF to be created. But hold your horses, we're nowhere done making decisions. You want to decide whether to justify your images, left, right, or center. Choose the image quality and format, and choose the image size. Again, the Preview PDF button is your friend. If you want to get fancy, move on to the Design tab of Export to include a header and a footer and even a logo. And on the last tab, you can even define your own cascading style sheet to modify precisely how your PDF will look. Again, that's an option, but a super cool option. Folge does what I wish every application ever developed would do. When you export your guide, it pops up a window offering to show you where you put it or just open it for you. I know we chose where to put these things when we hit save and export, but why should we have to drill down again and find it or even remember where we said to put it? Just show it to me. Love that Folge does that. The bottom line is, I have to say that there's no question that Folge is a fantastic option to replace Clarify. You can use it for free, as I said, but I think it's worth the $93 or $69 on sale for two reasons. One, because the rich HTML export is gorgeous. Your final product will have beautiful drop-down shadow boxes around each step and a lovely floating table of contents. And by default, it's a responsive design, so it will adapt to different screen sizes. The second reason is that the developer has definitely put in a lot of work to make this as good as it is already, and he's highly motivated to help make it even better. We desperately need a tool to fill this space, and I hope if you have a need to make tutorials for your friends, family, or coworkers, you'll consider investing in Alexi's work. I almost forgot, there's a business license option too, so if you're going to use Folge for a team, you want to check into that. So check out Folge at folge.me, and if you want to see how the rich HTML looks, I posted a goofy little example in the show notes. Whew. All right,
since
what are you?
Rick had to leave, I need to remind you to do a chapter mark and all that.
You want me to do a chapter mark at the end of the show? At the end. It's 6:11.
I just have to throw it out now. You are really keeping class late here.
I know. So I had a
We've
note.
lost. We're losing them quickly. Sandy,
Okay.
Rick.
So I would like you to note that NC 811, number 811, I'm
Thank you,
going to
Mike.
put... What happened? Saved in chapter. There we go. All right.
Oh.
We're going to wind it up. Here we go. Bringing it home. Well, with that, it's going to wind us up for this week. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, suggestions, and your reviews like Terry did by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at podfeet. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. Want to become a Patreon of the arts here? Go to podfeet.com/Patreon. Want to do a one-time donation? Podfeet.com/PayPal. Want to join the community and have conversations? Go to podfeet.com/Slack, where Rick Abram told me about the pencil and the magnet, as we've been talking about. So that's a fun place to go and play. If you like Facebook, we still have a Facebook community at podfeet.com/Facebook. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show and hold down the fort until Kevin gets back, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Boom. Okay, is Frank asking about Hindenburg?
Yeah, maybe you want to say, I'm going to go full screen. You can say a word or two?
Sure. This
So-
is a cross-platform app, works on Windows and Mac, and it's pretty good. I like it. I don't 100% love it, and I've never
So-
done a review of it because of that.
Say a little bit about what it does, just a sentence or two. Because I don't think it was clear.
The main thing is it's a digital audio workstation, so it's a multi-track audio recording and editing application. So if you want to know how it really works, you ask Jill, because she watched all the videos, so she knows how it actually works. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapter marks. Does that sound like enough, Steve?
Let me count them up. 1,
So,
2, 3, 4,
Chit
5,
Chat,
6.
Ken Ray.
Did you?
I deleted the cutie. I'm going to do the cutie
Oh, you
next
did?
week.
Okay, then 5. Yes.
Yeah. Good. All right. I think we are good.
Can we let class go? They've been 15 minutes late. That's like
I'm sorry.
25% over schedule. Your SPI is pretty bad right now.
Well, that's because I had to do all the talking, except for the 3 minutes that and we fooled around.
Yeah, and then you had
with the
that audio
pictures of
issue, which took
Sienna.
up 10 minutes.
Yeah. All right, I think I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. I didn't see Rose in here, but I'm going to kiss her goodbye anyway. Mwah. Goodbye, Rose. Goodbye, everybody. Take us out, Steve.
We're going out. Hi, Grace.